lives are the sum of our choices. This mission of yours is gonna cost you dearly.
He knows the best way to get to me is through all of you.
None of our lives can matter more than this mission.
I don't accept that.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Oh, so you like that? Very nice, very nice. You think we choreographed that? So
I
it's
don't know
been
what
a
you
few.
mean.
What's that?
I don't know what you mean. Choreograph.
Not at all. So it's been a few weeks since we have done one of these. We did Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Wow, I had to reach back into the recesses of my mind to remember what the name of that movie. So now we're back and we are catching up on Mission Impossible, which I want to call Mission Impossible 7, but it's actually Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. You have to take a deep breath when you recite that title.
Yeah.
Before we jump into the film, I do want to say, have you seen or revisited, I'm sure you've seen it before, have you revisited the clip of Tom Cruise being interviewed and the interviewer has like a fake water pistol or something in his microphone, so he shoots Tom Cruise in the face with water?
Like, why would you do that?
And he's like, no, really, you're a jerk. And he had every right to be mad. I mean, that's, you just don't do those kinds of things, but it was scarily intense, which brings us to Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Or 1,000 Ways for Tom Cruise to Potentially Die.
Yeah, I actually started something I've noticed in the Mission Impossible. He has a very distinct way of running.
You only noticed that now? Like Tom Cruise running is like is like the original meme.
Well, I've noticed it, but I feel like this one, there was so much of it that I was just like, I actually was in a theater on I went in the afternoon. I was surrounded by old people. I was bringing down the average age by good, like not kidding, 40 years. And
well, you were 18.
Well, I am 18, yes. I should be at school. There was that's horrifying. There was I don't know. I was sitting by myself in this big theater and I kept saying to myself, like out loud, it started realizing I was saying it out loud. I was like, oh, he's running again. There he goes.
My favorite shot of Tom Cruise running is probably in this film is the one where he's running in front of the candles. Like, I just wonder.
Oh my God.
There's that whole, like, what was that, like 2,000 candles? And they had to be real. They had to be actually lit, right? That wasn't CG, right?
I imagine that if like the train fight is not CG, some poor intern is running out there buying candles from every store just to make sure it looks legit. So I imagine everything in this movie is real.
I remember I did an interview for some show where it had like a prominent scene with candles on it, and they had to go and, like, to make sure they had continuity, they had a candle continuity person that would go in and they would burn the candles down to the length of the last shot to make sure that that's why you never put candles in a film, I guess, except far away. I guess there wasn't that. Anyway, that's a huge tangent. This podcast, this video review has been brought to you by Yankee Candles.
I wish I had a candle like in this room so I could just like lift it.
When I saw the sneak preview of or the critic screening of Haunted Mansion, they gave out candles at the door.
You have to use them to find your seat. I don't want to Count Chocula all of a sudden, but
all right. So Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is the latest in the extraordinarily prolific yet faintly unmemorable Mission Impossible series. And I say that, in just, I remember enjoying the films when I see them historically. And then for whatever reason, as soon as I leave the theater, they're gone from my head. It's like it never existed. I don't know if you have that same relationship.
I realize every time that I watch one of these movies, I enjoy them immensely. I was super excited to see this movie, and I loved this movie. I had a great time. Honestly, one of my favorite movies of the year. Like, honestly, like in the top 3. Um, I other than Ethan Hunt, I don't know I don't know who anybody's name is. I don't remember what they do from one movie to the other. I think I just refer to all the actors since I don't know their names just as like, oh, Ving Rhames, oh, Simon Peck, oh, Rebecca Ferguson.
Well,
Um,
Luther and Benji. I remember Luther and Benji
I know.
because Luther's
So
been there since the beginning.
right, right. Um, but I don't know. I think I mentioned this to you before, like maybe last week or when we were about to go see the movie. I was just like, I have a really great time when I'm in them. I remember the set pieces. Do I remember the plot? No. Um,
Right.
and I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah. So, and I was going to actually start this review with a conversation about, does the plot of Mission Impossible movies matter at all? Like you can, I find that, I mean, the plot is there as a device on which you string the set pieces.
Mhm.
And I remember from previous ones, I can't tell you the difference between Ghost Protocol, Fallout, and Rogue Nation, but I know one of them took place in Dubai. I remember he crawled up to the tower in
Mhm.
Dubai. I remembered the sandstorm. I remembered um there was the parking garage that was circular that I was
Oh yeah.
obsessed with because it had the elevator that would take your car and the running. Um
Yeah.
but aside from Mission Impossible 1 and maybe the slow-mo Mission Impossible 2, I can't I don't know. I don't know what they're about. I can't tell you anything unique about them other than just set pieces. So I think, it's
Yeah.
okay that the plot maybe not necessarily be the greatest thing in the world, but it's the set pieces that sell it.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll fully admit I haven't seen all of them. I've seen one. I did not see two or no, maybe I have seen two. Two is the one with the cliffs, right? Where he's like this.
Yeah.
I think I've seen that. I did not see three. I did not see Ghost Protocol, but I have seen Rogue Nation and Fallout. So even though that I could not differentiate them from one to the other. I mean, I know one has motorcycles, one he takes his sunglasses off and throws them and they explode. That might be the same movie. There's you know, climbing on shit. Like I could probably name the set pieces way more to your point than I can actual plot, character names, anything like that.
I will say Mission Impossible 3, I remember because it had Philip Seymour Hoffman and there was a lot of face taking off in that one. I think that's when they introduced is that when they introduced the new faces or did they do that in number one? I can't remember.
I
I
thought
want to
that
go
was like
back
a
and
thing throughout
rewatch
the
all
whole
of them.
thing.
Was
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
Okay.
I
Okay.
think so.
Well, I know they did that a lot in number 3. Anyway, so just here's our diatribe about how the plot doesn't matter. And here's the plot of Dead Reckoning. There is an AI virus essentially that has
Mhm.
become sentient and is threatening to take over the world, and everybody wants to be able to control the AI because that's like the last frontier is what we're told. The AI is the brain of the AI is housed in a sub that is sunken to the bottom of the Arctic, for reasons that sort of blew up itself for reasons I'm not exactly sure why. I assume it's because it wanted to protect itself because it became sentient, and it was just like, I'm better off locked up in this submarine at the bottom of the Arctic so that we can then see Tom Cruise have to swim the Arctic to go unlock
I
it.
Yeah, I imagine that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, that has to be. Anyway, and the crux of the first film is the elaborate and country spanning, continent spanning chase to find the key that will unlock the brain of the AI. And so we have characters that I don't remember from previous movies coming back together and interacting with each other in brilliantly designed set pieces. And it may sound like I'm in the same boat as you. It may sound like I didn't like the film. I loved this film. I love this film because it is so infectiously fun. It is 2.5 hours or 2 hours and 45 minutes, and it literally felt like an hour.
I thought the pacing of this was insane
Yeah.
because I because it was a very long movie and I knew it was a long movie. I even made a comment to the girl. She was like, "Do you want anything at the concession stand?" I was like, give me a water. And she was like, the small one or the big one? I was like, it's almost 3 hours. Give me a big one. And then I realized about halfway through the movie that I drank 3/4 of the water, and I was like, fuck, I have to pee. So I had to go to the bathroom. And I ran like Tom Cruise to the bathroom, and I, just happened to look at my watch, and I was like, oh, we're like 3/4 of the way through, and I didn't feel like that to me at all.
So we have essentially 3 set pieces here. We've got the airport sequence. We've got the Venice goth club that came out of Basic Instinct sequence. And we've got, is it Basic? No, it's Showgirls. I mean, Basic Instinct or Showgirls. That was the Paul Verhoeven homage, I will say.
Just say
And then
both,
we've
it's
got
both.
the train. We've got the train,
Mhm.
which is
Oh,
just one of the best things I've ever seen in film. Well, we'll get to that in a second. Of those 3, which one is your favorite?
the train. Um,
Yeah.
the thing about when they do like when it's Tom Cruise and Haley Atwell, which I'm convinced is just a Nev Campbell AI. I love Haley Atwell so much, but every time I see her face, I'm like, oh my god, they need to play sisters in something. Um, I was so surprised by how funny that sequence was, with them in the car and they're handcuffed together and they're racing through, and they one doesn't want to drive, and then the other one is like reaching over them and driving, and somehow they switch and it falls downstairs, and then like there's moments where the music stops and there's no action, and it's just like letting you laugh at how stupid and over the top it is. I think that's a really good example of um like action doing something else than making your heart race. But I was surprised by how funny a lot of it was. But dear god, that train sequence.
Yeah, I do want to go back to that car sequence. I forgot about that car sequence. I guess you could call that just Venice
Yeah.
itself, because it
Yeah,
it fits so well together and it flows so smoothly. But the humor in that sequence, the humor about the ridiculousness of the Mission Impossible connections, and I don't want to spoil anything for people who haven't seen it yet, but the humor in that sequence, I think, gives us a tension reliever in the middle of the
oh
film. I
yeah.
think it's really well structured. I think it's smart to do that, and I think it is smart to say, there is you do have to suspend your disbelief that all of these ordinary human beings can do all of these fantastical things. But then they put in this Haley Atwell character who is a gifted thief, and she can't do a lot of these things. She can't drive this souped up Fiat, and Tom Cruise doesn't know how to drive the souped up Fiat. It's all
Yeah.
of it is just it's very, very funny. But the train sequence is a master class in tension building, that you just at one point there's a part where the train is about to go over a blown up bridge, and I'm like, please just give me a break. This is a lot. This is a lot right now. But wow. And I don't know, you said you were in the audience with mostly seniors. My audience that I saw it in was much more diverse, much younger. But when he does the famous leap off the cliff with the bike, not a word was spoken. It was like a total hush was over the crowd, and they're just holding their breath, waiting to see if Tom Cruise is going to die. Which you obviously know he doesn't. But
Well, I will say that something that I do like about audiences that are older is that A, they don't think anybody can hear them, and B, they'll be very honest, very vocally. And when the screen sort of goes silent in that section where he's flying, and you can like sort of feel the tension of the scene, it was like, and then it was coming down, and I heard someone very quietly go, "Oh wow." I was like,
oh
it's like,
wow.
thanks, Barbara, like for ruining that. But it was funny. That was good. Barbara was there for my attention release. Yes.
I did love the fact that he actually recited a line of dialogue while the wind was flapping his face. Very brave, very brave. I don't know what was actually more brave, was him doing the stunt itself, or him being filmed while the wind is flapping his skin.
I think that's braver. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too, especially for being an actor in Hollywood. You said this is one of your favorite films of the year so far. What
Mhm.
is it? Is it the set pieces? Is it the action? What made you love it so much?
Um, I just thought the whole thing was really thrilling, and there was just like, there's all these like phrases of how the pandemic kind of ruined part of movie going, and so it kind of felt like this was an exciting thing to watch in a theater. And I don't know, like I don't want to say like it felt like a throwback, or I don't know. I wish I would have seen it with a larger crowd, with Barbara. And I don't know, it just felt like something really, really big.
Hmm.
I don't know. I can't imagine like the people that are like, oh, I'm gonna wait till it's on streaming. This is the phone, but I'm gonna wait till it's on streaming. I don't want to. I'm not gonna go to the theater. But like, I cannot imagine this playing like at your house.
No, I can't imagine that either. I think it definitely does need to be seen in a theater. I saw it twice in the theater. Actually, I saw it in a state of the art sound system that is like 45 minutes away from my house. And every time I go there, I
Uh-oh.
complain about it. But then there's a theater that's like 5 minutes down the road, and they do not have a state of the art sound system. And the movie literally looked like it was filmed at night. It's like, oh, yeah, I probably do need to drive 45 minutes away to get a better projection because this sucks. I can't
Aw.
imagine seeing something like Oppenheimer in that. Um, but it is great, and it's there's obviously the commitment of Tom Cruise, right? This isn't an actor role. He's not. I mean, he's giving he's just being what I feel like is Tom Cruise, just in an average, everyday, ordinary performance for him. But I think the key to this film's success is, after the action sequences, the introduction of Haley Atwell, who, after
Oh,
like 20 years of being in the business, has finally gotten this role that I think is perfect for her. She's amazing in this. I absolutely
yeah.
loved her presence here. I thought she was engaging. I thought she looked beautiful, and I mean, just was the perfect sort of foil for him.
Yeah, I've loved her since, I mean, for how long Brideshead Revisited, Agent Carter. She's got charisma. There's something about her and the way that she can sort of, I don't want to say like flirt with Tom Cruise, or, the way that their chemistry. So I think there's a really big spark between the two of them.
She's got
Um,
flirty eyes.
yeah, yeah. She's, I don't know, a little like crooked smile, something like that. She's just like, I don't know. I was like, she can take my wallet. It's not gonna be really rewarding for her, but I don't know. I love seeing her. There's something about her. There's an elusiveness to her in this movie because she's playing a thief that I really responded to. So seeing her on such a huge um stage with such a huge part was like really satisfying to me.
There's a playfulness between the two of them
Yeah.
that doesn't exist, I think, between other characters. It's a very different relationship than he has with Rebecca Ferguson's Ilsa Faust,
Mhm.
which
It's the
is
house.
intense and spy. That's not even a word, but you know what I'm talking about. It's very
Yeah.
it's but there's a sequence in the airport toward the beginning of the film where he has something in his hand and he's doing this magic trick, and it's like David. I
That made
bust
me
out
laugh.
laughing when he was
Yeah,
doing
me
it.
too.
I mean, and
Like,
I
you
think
can
that
do
was,
this.
yeah, and it was just like, but here, no, it's gone, no, it's back.
I was
It's
like,
behind your
I
ear.
oh, I almost reached for my phone. I was like, can Ethan Hunt do magic? Is he known for doing that?
I don't know. It was, but I think it was part of the playfulness. I think it was fun. It was again, it was a moment of a comic beat that I think served the film really well, because otherwise I think they would get repetitive. Um, but the train sequence, I mean, the train sequence I
Oh,
will forever remember, because I think it is one of the. I mean, they built that train. I don't know if you've
hmm.
seen the behind the scenes footage of it, but they had to build this train because they couldn't crash a train. Spoiler alert. Um, IRL. So, uh, brilliant way to end the film, and I honestly can't wait for Dead Reckoning Part 2. I don't know how they top this.
The thing about the train, I don't know how they top it either, but the thing about the train is when, because I thought, what's that front of a train called? I don't even know.
the, the
The
engine.
the engine, when the engine like flies off and it
Yeah.
crashes, and then I was like, oh, the train's gonna come to a stop and it'll hang over a little bit, maybe it'll be like a hanging thing, and then all of a sudden it was like, nope, the train's going over. Oh, and then this car is going over. Oh, and then this car is going over. And I was like, I would be so fucking tired of just like running up. Not this, but this. It's just so
Well, there's the food car with the gas and the flames and the spilling grease, and then
yeah.
there's the car with the piano that's hanging from a thread, and
Oh my god, that was
it's intense. It's fun. I mean, it's one of the best times that you'll have in a theater this summer for sure.
I mean, you know how fucking gay I am that when the piano was threatening to fall down, if anybody knows, the first thing that popped in my head was Titanic the musical, because Titanic the musical, the whole big thing is like there is a piano that like to show that the ship is sinking, a piano falls down the tilted whatever the hell, and that's what I thought of the entire time. So that's how faggy I am. But yeah,
Okay.
uh the part where it's like dangling by a thread and he jumps over to one side, he's like, you gotta come over, and I was like, how bad can it be? And then it actually falls. I was like, oh fuck, yeah, okay, it's really really bad.
What I also loved about that scene is when right before he makes his heroic leap, she like grabs onto him and stops him. He's like, "You gotta let me go." Again, it's these little bites of humor that I think work really well. I just hope that Dead Reckoning Part 2 doesn't involve him going into like a submersible that will then has a danger of exploding. I think they might have to go back and film that one if that's a part of the plot.
But like Tom Cruise is breaking SAG rules to film something. We don't know what it is, or he's just trying to convince people he's on a little vacation. It has nothing to do with acting, and he's like, oh,
No, he's just he's free diving in the Arctic,
like
just
for no
with some
reason, just for
cameramen.
fun.
He and his best buddy Christopher McQuarrie and the cinematographer down there diving.
He's like, we're friends. This is nothing involved with the union.
Last thoughts.
I this is the first one that I was really like, I want to see it again. I want to see it again. I want to see it with other people. I want to see it on a big screen. Again, uh, I think this was something else that I also thought was, I was like, oh, this is another movie. This is the second movie that we're reviewing where there is a chase on a horse. There's
And a train.
something and a train, and then there's a part in a subway. I can't even remember what it is, but it happens. And then also the women are really great. Not to take away from Tom Cruise because he's Tom Cruise and he can do whatever the hell he wants. But I was just like, I sort of love the very three different personalities of Rebecca Ferguson, so serious. Haley Atwell, playful and fun and flirty, and then Vanessa Kirby's just like sitting there like a cooing cat, just like hello.
It is a throwaway. We didn't mention her, but hers is a throwaway performance that she sells so effortlessly. Like
Oh
she just
god.
she purrs all of her lines. She slinks in every
Like
scene. She's like the perfect femme fatale. I mean, she is one of the most underrated actresses who
oh yeah.
definitely doesn't get enough work today.
I want to see her like recite something really like, read the directions of a cake mix or something like that, because it would be so sexy and so seductive and so serious. I would be on the edge of my seat. No, but not to get off on that tangent, but there's something about all three women being so distinct and really offering something different, set against Tom Cruise and his heroics and the action. Dear God, I just love this movie so much.
Same. So we will be back with our next edition, either focusing entirely on Barbenheimer or just one factor of the Barbenheimer experience. So stay tuned and thank you for watching.